Howdy everybody, Steve here, KM9G. I'm getting ready to go on a long road trip. And on this road trip, there is not an Amazon store nearby. So I gotta make sure I have everything. Let's figure out everything I'm gonna take for this trip and make sure that nothing is missing. I guess one of the first problems I'm gonna have to deal with is overpacking. I need to make a decision. This is the 100 amp hour Group 24 battery box that we just built. And this might be overkill. We're gonna see. Next up is the Vero VR N76 radio. I have been trying to get a red one of these. I keep asking them to send me one, and I'm going through my vendor contact, so I never know what I'm gonna get. I hope it's red this time. And for extended range, I'm going to be using the super elastic signal stick antenna, which is BNC, so I have a BNC to SMA adapter. And then I also have this from a previous video, which will allow me to clip it over the window of the car, and I won't need to use a mag mount, and I won't need to do any permanent install, and I'll be able to get the car outside of the Faraday cage. I'll be able to get the antenna outside of the Faraday cage of the car in order to get better signals. I am always playing with something. This is the Bree, and this is a new antenna that is the AR800, so I'll be playing with this one on the trip. And then of course, in order to share it all with you guys, I need to bring my camera kit with me. Don't ask me how I am filming my camera kit with my camera in the kit, but just take my word for it, it's in there. And then now we start getting into some of the weird connectivity stuff. This is a 100-watt foldable solar panel, and I need to make sure it has the right connections to connect up to the battery box to do the charging. So first we need to figure out what cables are in here, if any, and there are none cables in here. So I need to get cables that are gonna do my charging. Okay, so this is a 5525 jack, which is actually the same cable that I use to power my ICOM 705. And so now I've already taken at least one thing for sure out of my ICOM 705 kit, which is another reason to check this. So first I was missing the power cable for this, and now I'm missing the power cable for my 705. But I also gotta verify the polarity of this to make sure I don't need to switch that around any. So I gotta get this all set up and test it. And I like this panel because it folds up really small and still puts out 100 watts. And who doesn't pocket carry a multimeter? Red to red, black to black. And there it is, 23 volts positive. We're doing it. And that's with half the panel covered in late afternoon sun. There we go. All right, that is good to go, and that is good to go. Running out of room on the table already. All right, and there is my 705 Go bag. I have a video on this bag up in the corner, and I want to make sure I have everything where I need it. So I have my battery to power the radio. I do have two power cords for the 705. This is the one that came with the 705, and then this I got from my buddy Jim over at Airwaves GPS. So let's get that plugged in. All right, I have my Nano BNA and my Tiny SA in here, and all of the accessories that I need in order to get my antenna, make sure it's tuned up properly. This stays inside of my 705 bag. There is the 705 itself. I have a 2 70 centimeter antenna for it. This is my Elecraft T1 tuner. I'm gonna need this because I'm running the Coffee and Ham Radio's Poseidon antenna, which means I need to adapt the transceiver connection from SO239 to BNC, and I should have that adapter in here unless I haven't put it back. And it is in there. Awesome. All right, and now the tuner is connected up. And is there a battery in there? There is a battery in there. Perfect. And then for running data modes, I have my gas station USB cable with the Toroid to get rid of the RFI that comes back into the radio. This radio definitely has a problem with that. Another thing I want to play with on this trip is the DigiPi by KM6LYW. So I have a Raspberry Pi 4 with that all loaded into it, and it's got the nice little screen on there. In order to power it, I'm going to use this power pole splitter that splits it into USB to power the Pi, and then two more to power the radio and one other device, whatever one you happen to have. And I know the 705 has the GPS built into it, but I also have this because why not? Raspberry Pi, and we've got power, and we've got power splitter. Perfect. Ground radials. And I have my Poseidon antenna, and there's the coax. Now I need a way to get this thing in the air. Cordage for guying, the sky hook from my one rope guy system with the roller cams on there to secure the rope, some tent stakes to go into the ground, 10-meter DX commander mast. The Vero radio over here in the box will charge via USB-C, but there isn't any reason why I can't run the Raspberry Pi and the IC705 in the car, so there's more power for us. And then lastly, I know there's going to be YouTubers where I'm going, so I'm bringing a Meshtastic radio to carry with me, and this also charges off of USB-C. About the only thing I can think of to add is another Denko battery. That way, when that one is dead and charging, I will have another one as a spare to keep me going. So I've got what I believe is all of the radio gear for the mission in hand. The mission is going to be HT portable while doing some hiking. It's going to be staying at rest stops and doing some HF, maybe doing a POTA along the road trip. I'm thinking I'll probably want to play FT8 while I'm bored at the campsite, and I definitely want to play a little bit with WinLink along the trip. So we're going to try and use the DigiPi to do WinLink. The DigiPi does everything. It'll do APRS, it'll do WinLink. The Vero HT also does APRS. I've got a video on that coming out soon. So I think that's it. Am I missing anything? Let me know in the comments down below, but always check out your stuff before you go and pack your car and you go on a long road trip, because you never know what you might have forgotten to bring with you. So now I know that I have everything I need to get my antenna connected to my coax, connected to my tuner, connected to my radio, and keep my radio up and on the air and happy. There's a video right over here I think you might enjoy next. Thanks for being awesome. I'll see you over there.